some food in between. All right, I think we're online, probably. Let me
Hello.
pick food out of my teeth.
Yes. I'll leave it in.
It's part of our... All right. Okay, and this time I'm hanging out. Sweet. This time... Hello, everybody. This is, at the top, Corey Martin. In the middle, Gwen Frey. And at the bottom, Alan Hazelden. And we are playing Kine. And...
Kine.
Kine.
Right? Short for kinematic.
Like, everyone called it Kine, and I just liked it better. Like, it's just, it felt pretentious. Can I? I don't know why.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you're never gonna win that fight to actually get people to call it that. So you might as well just call it Kine.
And I like Kine. It's like kind. It just sounds nice. I'll admit I'm not the best at naming things. That's probably not like things that went right on Kine. The name probably not on the list. The name of the game could have been stronger.
So you said.
Okay.
So you said Steam gamers don't deserve my game. Can you comment
I said
on
what?
You said Steam gamers don't deserve my game. Can you elaborate on that, please?
No, you actually. There is still rage. There's still lists on Steam for like any beat that was in the Epic Game Store first, which was interesting. Like there's like a, what do you call it? You know how you've got those Steam influencers and the people will recommend games and stuff. I don't know what that thing is called.
Curate.
Yeah, the curators.
Curators.
There's like curator lists that are just called Fuck Epic, and like they'll just every game that was on EGS will be there. I was surprised Steam let this be in the summer festival. Like I was surprised that was okay.
Yeah, I don't know how much is okay for you to discuss in general, but I did wonder also, like, you're supposed to have exclusivity until the fall? Yeah. Is it? Okay, so does the demo being up there that doesn't count as breaking your exclusivity?
I emailed Epic and I was like, hey, do you mind if I apply to be in the Steam Festival? Because it's technically for any game that isn't out on Steam yet and will be. And Epic was like, of course, we're fine with that. Because of course they are. Like, put a demo on one store, but go buy it on another. That's great for them. And I went to Valve and I was like, just heads up. Like, I emailed Valve and it was like, heads up. This game's on the Epic Game Store. Is it okay if I have a demo on Steam? And they're like, apply. We'll think about it. And then they were just like, yeah, okay. Like, I don't know.
We'll think about it. For this festival.
I think it's like, Valve, at any given moment, they'll say, just apply and the algorithm will figure it out. Or like, that's like Valve's philosophy on stuff. Yeah.
Corey, your voice is echoing apparently.
Okay, so the way this is set up is we are in a Skype call, right?
Yeah.
In order to get the audio from Corey's machine, he has to, like, I have to get the screen share. Do you understand what's about to happen here? Okay, so we're in a Skype call. In order for Corey to hear us, he has to hear us on his machine. We're getting Corey's audio. Yeah. We could just do this without, let's just do it without audio. Corey, it's okay. Can you stop showing me?
Yeah, I think that's going to be better than nobody being able to hear Corey at all.
Well, it would be worse than that. It would be us talking while Corey can't hear us because he's turning off. Like, that would be the solution, I think.
No, like, hang on. I got it.
What?
What happened?
Hang on.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. There we go.
We're game
There we go.
We're not streamers. It's all good.
So now only I hear the music.
Yeah, that's okay. You can see the music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing.
That's true.
Yeah, this game was like... You realize before this I'd never worked on a puzzle game or really played puzzle games?
Oh, you can tell. Check.
I have a lot of
So what was the timeline? Because I remember. What was the timeline? Because I remember you saying. So it's you started on this game and then you discovered.
You still got the echo.
Amazing.
So good job.
Amazing.
I still have the echo.
Good job. Why would it be echoing?
Oh, I can just turn off all audio from Kine. That should do it. We should be good now. Corey, you don't have to resolve anything. I just realized I could fix that on my end. And then did.
Return what you have stolen from me.
I think they're insinuating that your mic is robotic.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. What if Corey and I both say return what you've stolen from me at the same, and that will sound basically like an echo, right?
It'll be a good phase effect, yeah. If we're in exact sync or near exact. Wait. So okay. So you started on this game and then you discovered the sausage.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That was the thing.
No, it wasn't actually. I don't think so. Oh, I like Steven Sausage Roll a lot. I mean, when I first there's footage of this. The first version of this game, I was playing around with like the way a character would move around in space by somersaulting and stuff. It was supposed to be these were gonna be humanoids, and you were gonna be a dude with a gun because everybody likes dudes with guns, and you were gonna like roll because I come from AAA as an animator, right? And you were gonna roll around in 3D space and somersault around and kick off of walls, and like it was gonna be like a weird movement mechanic that I thought I would at some point use in some game that I'm working on. Because before this, I also didn't want to be designer or make video games. Like as a designer, like I was an animator working on animation tech, and I had this tech demo. And as I was working on it, I thought it would be fun. I just had a lot of fun. I prototyped the movement I wanted with a cube, and I was figuring out like the animation trees for that and stuff. And I got all that working, and then I thought I didn't want to stop working on it, so I thought I'd make a little puzzle game with it. And the first version was like I had this concept in my mind, like I'll make a puzzle game, knowing nothing about puzzle games because I don't really play them other than Inside and the kinds of games that I tend to like Gris, Inside, more atmospheric puzzle games. And so what I thought is like, okay, you can extend and contract and you move through space, and I kind of like the cube. We'll keep it really simple. We'll keep it a cube, and it'll be something like some kind of 3D Tetris where you roll around in space and you have to roll through holes in the wall or things like that. And I think that was the very first version I tried. And then I ended up moved away from that and moved to something where you have to figure out how to navigate a space like a maze kind of, but you have these odd shaped appendages. I called them appendages back then. And that was just not fun at all. It was stupid. And then I set it aside. And I did nothing with it for I was busy at work on a different game. And so I set this aside for about 5 months. And in there I played Steven Sausage Roll. And I remember being like, oh, that's what the game should have been. Because the puzzles I was doing back then weren't really puzzles. It was just a massive playable space. I don't know, 5-10 times bigger than you see right here. And you were trying to get through a maze, whereas Steven Sausage Roll, everything was very, very small and tight. It was a Sokoban. I didn't know what a Sokoban was.
Right? It's a small level, please. Game.
Yeah, and that was, and I actually really, really enjoyed Steven Sausage Roll. And I remember thinking, shit, I should have done that with the prototype. And then I didn't because I was busy at work. And then a couple more months passed, and then I actually started making this. So yeah, it was kind of a weird situation.
Corey, I think you're going too fast. We're not going to be.
Frame rate looks fine for me when it goes from here to Boston to Twitch to. We're going through Allen somehow, right? Also.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
Probably.
All right, I'll go a little bit slower.
You're just too pro.
Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer for this, almost like, oh shit, like almost demoralized and like, wow, somebody really made one of these games this impressive, and I was excited to play it and scared and confused, but yeah. then it turned out you were a nice person, so I didn't have to be upset.
No, I mean, imagine how sad I was, because I thought I was a fucking god when I came up with it. Like, I played Steven Sausage Roll, and I was like, oh my god, I have, like, when I started working on this, I was like, that game did well, but I could do 10 times better, because I'm, like, have an art background and also have this sweet mechanic no one's ever thought of. No one has ever made anything like this ever. And then I see one of those Jonathan Blow streams, and he says Sokobon, and he talks about, I was like, what's Sokobon? And I find this whole fucking community. Like, I'm not a god. There's hundreds of people making these games. It was a massive bummer when I found out about that. But then I found out about the games, and they're all really fun. Like, Pipe Push Paradise was really fun. I really enjoyed that, Corey. Like, we talked about it in the Discord. Like, I feel like I appreciate that game so much more, because at the time I was working on Kine. And I could literally see, like, for one thing, your game is Pipe Push Paradise is way harder, but a lot more thought out, and the puzzles are a lot more. They have a lot stronger aha moments.
I think this game's a lot harder than you think it is. There it is. I just had to notice the back of the. Are these?
I can't hear you, Corey. What did you say?
So are these did these boxes mean anything to you? I'm putting position as me to defend
the art style.
The content.
I mean,
yeah,
what I was...
the wooden boxes, like, are they thing?
Well, I mean, the whole narrative here is that there's these three little machines and they dream of being musicians. And so I wanted something that felt dreamy and not quite, like it couldn't be a real place. I thought about having it be a city, like they're moving around through the big city. I experimented with that. And in the end, I want it to be kind of like backstage, like I used to work in a theater. What is it like when you're an aspiring musician? You spend most of your time backstage among the props and among different things like this. And I talked this over with the artists that I had hired to upres the environment. And we... kind of came up with this look, like, okay, what does it look like if you're backstage, but also something that's, I wanted to keep this whimsical art style that's very inspired by animation and like traditional 2D animation sort of look. And so that's how we sort of came up with this. I mean, some of it's I let the artists go a little wild in some places. You have to let the people on your team have ownership over certain things, because that's how you get the best work out of them. And so there's that we had some.
So how many people altogether? How many people together worked on the game with you?
So after I was funded, because it was just me, I did all I did the first pass of the game, which did not have this environments. After I was funded, I hired a company to help me upres the environments. I'm stalling while I think of the number of people. 4 people for 5-ish months. On average. One person was there more like 6 months, one person was there 3 months. But 4 across the 2D and the 3D. Because I had them help me reimagine the UI. Or like, the UI was garbage. I can show you, after this, I'll show you screenshots and things of what the UI went through. It was really bad. Like, repeated, just really awful for a long time. In different ways. Like, it was awful, and then I'd change it to be awful in a completely new and exciting and horrible way. Anyway, once I finally got that figured out, getting that arted up took some doing too. Anyway, yeah. So.
Well, it is a.
4 to 5.
I was just noticing the oversized scissors and pencils and stuff in the background.
Yeah.
Just like, that's like a quarter of the effort I put into the art of my first couple games is in just like those scissors and pencils, and they're just like darkened enough the actual important elements of the puzzle, but like darkened enough that you probably won't, like, you might not, like there's a lot of
like they're not distracting, but
yeah.
Touch.
Okay, this is the one. This one, every single time I played for a while.
Yeah, I still think about cutting it.
Because I get stuck on it and you want me to feel nice.
Yeah, I just want
because
Corey to
you
be happy.
Specifically.
Like the weakest stuff in the game is this puzzle specifically. Well, I don't. Oh, whatever. And the main stage. I think when you have all three characters in the main stage, I don't think those are. It's hard to say. It's hard to judge. But I just don't. They don't have a purpose in my mind. Like I made them very early. I never really reevaluated them. There has to be some puzzle that uses all three characters. That makes sense. But in hindsight, I think one of my regrets. Uh, I mean, I did all the puzzles, and then I got into the mode where it's like now I have to upres the art, and I'm in production, and I'm doing it right. And I never went back and like tried to make more puzzles or iterate on the puzzles as much because I was so once you have 4 or 5 artists working for you, you're spending most of your time being there for them, like helping them get
Right.
their work in, getting that done. I was spending money at a rapid rate, like I was on the finish line, and I never iterated on the puzzles after, like for the last year of development. Um, and the other thing is, usually I'd get people to play test the game, and my friends would play it, but it's really easy to get people to play like an hour or two, but anything like the end of the game, I don't think that was play tested at all. Really.
Yeah.
It's just very difficult to get playtesters to play the very end of the game.
Yeah, I think I've had that experience too, where you're like, I hope the end is enjoyed by the be like a week before Pipe of Paradise release before someone
Yeah.
finished. That was stressful. So I'm here again. This puzzle.
Try
Obvi-
resetting and going south from the wall.
Mhm.
See if that helps. Possible thing you could do that isn't forced, that isn't exactly the same thing that you've been.
And then
Yeah.
or
What?
one of these. Oh, but I went over it for a moment. Isn't that enough? That position. Um, so that's not it.
Puzzle's just impossible. Oh, well.
You should have cut this one because nobody likes.
No, people love impossible puzzles. That's what.
That's what is the Discord is touching?
Yeah, like as long as it's level 23, then people are fine with it.
Oh, right. Okay, that's the rule. Well, this is 8. So tell me how to solve this.
You guys made me
Not
struggle.
not Gwen. No.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of what we're speaking of not recently, like, oh, you found like Soccer Band and Steven Sausage Roll. At what point in development, or not at all, did you ever play Gwen?
I didn't. People kept tweeting it at me.
Have you still never played it?
I've never played it. No, I should really go do that. That seems kind of important.
You should play it.
You would think I would have done that by now. It's probably on a list of things I'm like, oh God, at some point I should really play this, and then I just didn't. I didn't play like any video games until after this launched, and then I played like my backlog, which for me was things to play for fun. Because you know how like there's the games you play for research, and then there's the games you play because they're nothing like your game. And you just want to have fun again.
Which games do you play for
All
research?
puzzle games at this point. Like I have difficulty turning it off. Yeah. Well, that's not true. I played Patrick's Parabox just for fun last night. It is a good one. I liked it, yeah. So I played that one once a long time ago. I'm not as good as you guys about keeping up with all the puzzles. And I don't think I ever did the thing where you push. Like I did this by accident because I was stuck for like a second on the last puzzle. I did the thing where you push the world that you're on off of the world, and you get. I don't. Never mind. I found that thing. I don't know if you guys have found that thing.
Yeah.
That was pretty. That was a fucking
Yeah.
moment. I liked that. That was good.
I mean, you just gotta Like if you've got a thing inside of itself, we can't push it out without causing problems.
It didn't occur to me to try that, and then I did that. I did that by accident. Well, not by accident. I was like, oh shit, I wonder what would happen if I did this. That was funny. I like that. That was.
I definitely encountered that when I played the game like a while back. But then I played the demo, and like I didn't even think about doing the weird thing. And people in Discord were talking about that moment, like, wait, did I miss something?
Yeah. This is another one. People get stuck on it. Like, everybody gets it in 3 moves, or they don't get it. Some people really cannot grok this character.
Well, there's a lot there. I mean, I'm also tempted to just save face and be like, no, it's hard. It's hard. It's really hard. But it is like the distinction. There are things. There's more than one thing to know. Ways that you know. I don't even know how to speak about it. Don't listen to me.
But yeah. There's like one orientation you're 2 away from the thing, and the other orientation you're 3 away from the thing, and it's just a lot to think about.
And the game's way harder than you think it is. In general.
Yeah.
Which is like a general rule of thumb with any puzzle game, but definitely true here. Did we lose Corey's audio?
No, he's still there. He's just quiet. I can, yeah, never mind. It's just internet latency at some point.
Sure.
Oh, do you know why this one? So this whole section exists because of you guys. I was like,
Oh yeah?
yeah, I found the Discord and I was like, everybody else is making a Sokoban game. I want to make a Sokoban game. And I started like, okay, what if you have these movement mechanics, but you have to get a block to a place? And I tried that and it was fucking, like, I couldn't play. It was so hard. Like, it's hard enough, like, just getting to a place with these movement mechanics. The second you're like, also get this other thing to a place. I was like, no. So I tried to do a Sokoban game. It was just not fun at all. But the only thing that was fun was using the block to move yourself. And so I went back and put those in. And so now there's a little section where you do that. It's a little love letter to Sokoban.
Hang on. I'm having a moment where I'm like, what? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't catching the target there.
Yeah, here.
Okay, yeah. So I do then use it to push up.
Yeah. You should make that paperclip brighter. You can't quite see it. It's the one thing you have to be careful of up-resing the art in any way. You can so quickly lose the ability to see the puzzle, you know? These games are... Yeah. I was thinking of it when I was playing Corey's game. Like, it's beautiful, but it's... the beauty always comes to the cost of it's way harder to see the puzzle after that. This is another one I thought about cutting. Or at least making optional. This is one of the ones that people just get stuck on.
Cut puzzles for the Steam release.
I know. I mean, it's occurred to me. You were the one that told me to cut this in the first... I remember. That's right.
This tells people to cut puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's half telling people to cut puzzles and half telling people, hey, here's this concept, you should make more puzzles to cover that concept.
Yeah. I've never heard the second one from you.
I've gotten notes from Ellen that are, it's the word cut with an exclamation point.
Yeah.
I don't know how you...
I don't know how you
find
the time to play all these games, Alan, because you do seem to play games constantly and give people so much feedback. It's like something I'm really impressed with. I'm writing down the name of this. I think I will cut it for the Steam release. That's the last looking.
Yeah.
I was already like in a lost state for
Yeah,
a long
that's
time.
why. That's part of why this one sucks. Like if you, uh, can I show you something? Oh well, no. If you push, this is
I
really
want
stupid. Push
to
push the
be able
block
to
off the
do
world
this.
at some point. I just want to show you what happens in this level if you push the block off the world. This level
Like this level
specifically,
specifically.
because I got so frustrated that people
Now,
kept doing it.
but then I have to find my way. Like now you've given me a secondary
Yeah.
puzzle that I also
No,
can't
you can do
solve.
it. Do what you just did right there.
No. What?
I've totally effed up his flow.
I said I'll play this on stream. It'll be fun. I said I won't embarrass myself.
Now you know how it feels. It's really hard playing these games on stream. Cut the
Yes.
last. I'm gonna cut those two for the steam release. I'm gonna cut this one. I'm gonna cut the last quad level. And I'm gonna cut I'm gonna make it so you don't need as many on the main stage.
Trick asked, did you have any inspiration for the individual characters' personalities?
Oh yeah, like they're Euler, Quad, and Rue, right? So like,
Obviously, that says it all.
yeah, like quaternions, like quaternion rotation is what programmers use. It's the thing that'll always work, but nobody likes working with it because it's a pain in the ass to work with. It's one of the what was it? I used to describe it as like the rules lawyer when you're playing a video game or like a tabletop game. Quat's like that. No, actually, like the old school rules lawyer, irritating friend that's always right, but you don't want to work with them because they're a pain in the ass. So that's Quat. Euler is what artists use. He's an artist. He's a musician. He's kind of like a dunce. He gets into jams. He's got a critical flaw. If you notice everything in the game, anytime there's Euler's biggest weakness is 90 degrees of rotation in the yaw. So anything that's gonna fuck him up is gonna start rotating 90 degrees in the yaw. That's why there's two elements in the game that rotate like that, 90 degrees in the yaw. That's why when the whole point, the inflection point at that near the end of the game, is consecutive 90-degree rotations in the yaw until eventually Euler breaks. Like that's the.
God, that's such a nerdy joke.
I'm trying to think. There's a bunch of shit like that. Like that's where it all comes from. Euler is obviously madly in love with Rue, because she's the only one that can help him. In the case.
Huge spoilers here.
You're spoiling the plot.
Which is very charming.
Thank you, I guess. So yeah, that's where.
The plot, I mean.
No, I get it.
The spoiling is also charming. Everything is charming.
I'm glad the game is charming. I had a lot of fun making it. This is definitely this is my baby for quite a while. I really enjoyed it.
I just went in a circle there. Yeah, you give people a lot to think about here.
God, there was more too. It's just been a while. Oh yeah, like the entire game, basically every element in the game is some kind of twisted pun. Like they are in Euclidean space. That's why they're in space. They are, that's where the inspiration. You know, I should shut up. It's really nerdy.
No, it's great.
No, it's all good.
You're in the safest.
But for nerds, yeah, that's true. Among my people.
Oh. Yeah, so the coordination definitely takes more brain power for these games. But for like I mean things like the camera movement and switching.
Are you doing this?
Yeah, there's like
Are
no
you
air.
doing? Well, I went through a lot of different. For Oilers specifically, I tried a lot of different controls, and I liked. I think it works well now on a gamepad. Like the triggers, specifically because the triggers will cycle both between his what do you call it? His limbs and also between the characters when you have the multi-character levels. So that I think worked out, and I like it with mouse and keyboard. It feels intuitive to select the limb that you're moving. But just keyboard alone, that I don't know. Do you like the toggle?
I think it's just like I think with the controller, it would be more intuitive, but I keep like looking down and being like, okay, which key am I? I have never used a keyboard before. I have to look down and see. Okay.
Yeah. You know what definitely did not work was any permutation of like, my first instinct was, maybe say take two keys, like J extends one limb and K extends the other. That does not work at all because your mind does not track like this is the horn and that is the arm at all. Like you don't, as soon as you rotate the character, it's just off in your head. Another thing I tried was like having a key for moving in Y, X, and Z. That did not work. That was just deeply unpleasant.
You need to make it so that you only play in VR. And you're like,
It's occurred to me that like you could do some really cool Sokoban style puzzle
I
games.
think that would be the only non-awkward control scheme for this character.
Well, I think in general, if you want to explore, because I'm into 3D Sokoban games, like I think there's a lot of unexplored space when you're thinking in 3D. Like it's not something I'm doing for my next game, but it's like I think it is cool. I think VR is a natural place for it. That has definitely occurred to me. But now you're combining the tiny ass market of people that want puzzle games and finding the Venn diagram with the tiny ass market of people that are into VR. And I think there's like 4 people on the planet that would play that game. So...
I mean, I don't know. Like, people who want VR want like rhythm games, and then puzzle games must be like the second genre. Oh, maybe shooting games. Rhythm games, shooting games, then puzzle games. That's like
I don't think there's just not a big market for. I have VR, right? Like I've got a Vive in the closet that I played once because it was a fun toy, and then put in the closet, and I'll never take out again. And I think that's like the VR. I think that's what VR is for a lot of people. I don't know. I go back and forth. Like it's cool technology, but I don't know if it'll ever really take off. And I don't enjoy currently developing in VR. Like it's not fun. You spend a couple hours in that headset and you're like sweaty, and it's just really deeply unpleasant.
I can imagine. Yeah, I've barely played VR, let alone developed in it. But it's like I can imagine. Like I get even just playing for a few minutes, I'm like, okay, I've had enough. So like having to develop in that. What games have you worked on that are or game that's?
I'm trying to think. I did a small thing, 2 small contracts. Like I did a contract for a couple months for NASA. They were doing you're an astronaut walking around on Mars. Like it was called Mars 2030. It's actually on the Epic Games Store. It's not like a game. That whole I have to be careful what I say. It was the people involved were really excited about rocks, and so the idea is like, all right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have them go to this place, right? They're gonna get there, they're gonna get in the rover, and they're gonna drive there, and then they're gonna look at that rock, and with that,
man, this is amazing. 40 square kilometers of Martian terrain.
It is,
from
yeah.
accurate maps.
They took
so boring.
Well, it's not. It's NASA. They're like, get excited about Mars. See, we scanned Mars. Look at this, and they're describing it. It's like, okay, so, and yeah, my job wasn't to make the game fun. Obviously, this was back when I was animation, right? Like my role was tech animation. So my job was like, when you're the astronaut, I set up the arms so I would solve the elbow locations, and just try to make it feel right when you move around, or I had to figure out how to make the rover work, in there they did. I was just getting this thing to ship, but yeah, it was an interesting group of people that was on that project. It was definitely unique, and it was. I wanted to work in VR, so that was kind of cool. And they invited me to go like actually down and like drive around in a rover and shit, which I did. I should have taken them up on, but I was like, at the time I was at the molasses flood. Our company was about to fold. I was like, I don't have time to go fucking drive a weird rover or whatever. I should have appreciated that job more than I did. But it was a little contract gig, solving stuff for them. Yeah, the worst part, like I'd work in VR like for a couple hours straight, and then I'd feel really sweaty and gross, and like I wouldn't like hunger stops being a thing. You stop feeling hungry. Um, for one day I finished, I took off the headset, and because the astronauts' arms were so thick, I like looked at my own arms, and I just didn't. They didn't feel real. Like they didn't feel like my arms. It was really freaking me out. So
That can't be good.
nah, nah, I just don't want to work in VR anymore, man.
Any job that makes you feel like your arms are, it's one of my rules. Don't take that job.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. As far as a project in a company or organization.
I mean, yeah, like if you're gonna do some contract work, do it. Like I'm pretty lucky. I've had some pretty sweet contract gigs. I did one for them. I did one for Double Fine. That was like pretty sweet.
Also
No,
VR,
by
you
the
mean?
time I was helping to, so they wanted to kick off Psychonauts 3, the new Psychonauts, Psychonauts 2, Psychonauts 2. I'm losing my mind.
You're not allowed to announce
Yeah.
Psychonauts 3.
They were kicking off Psychonauts 2, and they wanted to move over to the Unreal Engine. So they gave us all their assets, and they said if you were gonna make Psychonauts 2, just start making it so we can learn from you. And they took that as a template, and they built Psychonauts 2 off of that. It was me and the rest of the Molasses Flood did that for like 4 months.
It's really cool how you shift the environment out for visibility.
That was a massive pain in the ass that I regret. Well, not that I regret. It's cool.
It's appreciated.
It's
But yeah, I can imagine there being a lot of
well,
headaches
when
involved.
I was clicking, so I made all these little puzzles, and then this was back when it was a solo project, and then I thought, oh, I'm just gonna stick them together in a world. I don't know why I decided to do that. I think maybe because the only game I had played that was a puzzle game similar to this was Steven's Sausage Roll, and I was like, so you should stick them together in a world, but like, there's no reason design-wise to do that, and that's actually a massive pain in the ass. Like, getting all these, especially in 3D space, like the it seems trivial, right? Like okay, so one puzzle will just form the wall for the other one, and I don't know, like maybe there's some space in between, you just fill it with blocks or something. How hard could it be? No, it's really fucking hard, and as soon as you do it, you can't edit any puzzles because now you're gonna fuck up every puzzle around it,
Yeah.
and it just became like this unintended
And you
huge.
especially can't do it after you ship the thing and stuff, or depending on how you do things.
Mhm. You can always cut.
Look, we're not allowed to talk about this because this is going to be my entire next 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tori, you're oh, you're back. Tori's not online anymore.
It's just no, it's just lagging. Oh wait, no. Yeah, it's lag. I think we'll get him back.
There. Visible there. Okay, what this one's impossible too. I feel like I know I've solved all of these until I come back.
Sorry.
Like I said, I was like, oh, returning to this game. Like I haven't played it in a while, so it won't be just trivial to breeze through. I didn't realize I would struggle this much. How is it possible? Oh, like I have to turn around something. Like I have to rotate 90 degrees somehow. Is Is that a right assumption?
I'm
That
think
has
so.
to be the case, right?
I think so, but I don't see how.
There's those sweet smear frames, like shit at the frame rate. It's oh jeez.
Yeah,
Specifically
Gwen, I think you
looking
might need
through
to cut these levels too.
looking through chat for spoilers. Is someone?
I don't think anyone's
Mm-mm.
spoiled this. I'm trying to play it in my head. I'm not seeing the solution.
Fighting position. Yeah. I would be
Painful for me.
tempted. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
If to have had a level with a space with this character, even if it's not for the game, just for the sake for my own enjoyment, to like move around freely in like let's say like whatever a 6x6 square, and then I can I think I could understand it more. How do you reorient?
Cause I feel like I did that for the first level of the accordion, and all it did was confuse people. Cause it gave you, like, all it did was make it harder. Uh, but yeah, I hear you.
Because it was harder because people could get out from the solution with a small number of moves away.
Exactly. Like if you think of what the first accordion level is, all it is like it's a box where she can move around for the most part. She has one little wall to push off of, and there's just a goal location. And yeah, it's like 3 tiles away, but if after you've mastered the movement, that should be easy. But the problem is I'm throwing that to you early, and after you master the movement is a big question mark. And so it's actually better to start somebody on a puzzle where there's really only a handful of things that they can do to teach it. Like I think the second accordion level teaches the accordion better than the first one, because you can't really fuck that up. You just hit X several times and feel good, and learn what happens.
Oh, jeez. I want to control somebody who's.
Don't worry, you got like 10 more minutes, then we're gonna take a break again, and then I'll be playing Alan's game. So not too much longer. The pain will end. I apologize.
No, not like the more tonight. Right.
So I'm trying to remember. So for these, I wanted to have something where you unlock something. Like I wanted to have a puzzle where you unlock something halfway through the puzzle, and so I added this initially, and I didn't remove the other parts of the puzzle yet. Uh, so several things would happen. At first, people would ignore this and go to the win condition they were used to. So I just removed the win condition. I'm like, you don't see the win condition until after you've done the optional thing, right? That way, people could actually, because if I didn't do that, people wouldn't unlock it. And then what would happen is people would go all the way around, because if you have a puzzle like this where you see all these extra little boxes back there and stuff, people are like, well, that exists for a reason, so I should go use that, right? And so even though it's really easy to hit the first target, people would go around like as if they were going to go to the final target. And so then I had to add a second thing that just removed half the puzzle, so all you could do was hit the optional target. At that point, it's not even really an optional target anymore. So it's just kind of like a two-stage puzzle now, which is fine. But yeah, that was how that one panned out.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, we're back. Okay. Okay. Now I've said on the puzzle Discord a bunch of times that I think I'm probably one of the worst puzzle solvers in this server, and
That's not
I'm
true.
true to
You
my
saw
word.
me struggle with Bonfire Peaks like less than half an hour ago. Or about an hour ago.
That felt different because it was happening to you. This is painful for me.
Yeah, you know what? We're really not. We let Alan off the hook. I think what we need to do is next weekend we do another stream where Alan just plays several games for 3 hours and we heckle him
Yes.
Okay.
so that he
Which
understands. Which games?
games that I haven't played yet?
Well, hold on. Corey's already played this one. Oh, you're gonna make him play like a twitchy style, like a shooter?
Yeah.
We're not
Three
that
hour
masochistic.
super hexagon marathon.
What is a puzzle game? No, we should make you play puzzle games you haven't played. You should play Gris and Inside. And learn.
I played Inside.
Oh,
I
yeah.
played Grid.
Oh, they're really not they're beautiful. Dude, Inside is so stunning. Like it's not I don't know if I would call it an amazing puzzle game, but it's such an amazing game. Like just the atmosphere, the way it makes you feel is so good. And the puzzles don't exist to be interesting puzzles and like not they don't exist to be difficult. They exist to make you feel apprehensive, to capture a feeling rather than existing to give you an aha moment or something that I think a lot of puzzle players look for.
Well, yeah, and it's also like it's not like the game is a system and then there's all merged from that system. It's really just like okay, well, this dog is chasing you, and the most obvious thing, the dog's gonna eat you or gonna catch up and eat you. But if you run over here, you can get them. Like so. Things that I'd almost like, and I'm like, are we doing the right thing by making these hyper designed puzzles that are like each of them is like a thing in terms of like single puzzle in both Limbo and Inside required specific programming. They're all doing different things. It's not building on each other, but then it's like all food and all that. So it's a different thing, but
It is the goals.
yeah,
It's just so
I
I love them and I respect them and I know they're completely different from like the kind of puzzles that when Alan thinks about puzzle game, you know. But
Yeah, like what was the game? Maybe it was like I don't consider Inside to be a puzzle game. It's like a roller coaster ride.
yeah, but I mean, yeah.
yes.
So we don't have to make you play it. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good example of something that would be kind of. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going for there. Yeah, we'll come up with something. We'll come up with 3 games. We'll ask the chat. Tell us 3 games Alan should play. We'll make him play that.
No, it's only 2 games.
Oh, that's fair because I'm only playing 2.
2.
All right.
I'll just come back to this.
I think we've hit the end of Kine. So, do you guys want to take like a 5-minute break and then we'll come back and we'll do the last. We'll do a monsters expedition. All right, cool.
Sounds
I'll
good.
see you guys. Chat. I'll see you in 5 minutes.